Welcome to everyone who has come to celebrate the life of a wonderful woman. I welcome especially Betsy and Charlie, her brother, and his wife Gail. visitors all the way from Nashville, relatives and friends and community members who may be tuned in on Zoom from around the country. We will begin with a prayer. We gather this evening to remember Mary Clute. We know we have to return to you, O God, the lives of those whom we love. While we are together, we love as we can. We share as we can. We influence each other often and without being aware of when or how. And then we have to let go. We believe, O God, that you welcome Mary into your life and love. Please be seated. We will now have a sketch of the life of Mary by Eleanor Clute. Eleanor Craig.
Mary Pope Clute was born in Harlan, Kentucky. Her father, Charles Pope, met Louise Arrowwood, a nurse from Mars Hill, North Carolina, while he was recovering in Harlan Hospital from an emergency appendectomy. They fell in love and were married the next year. Charles was a young widower with 3 children. Mary was the first of 4 more children. Her birth drew the family together in a special way. 3 siblings followed, bringing the total to 7 children. Mary's father worked in the Cumberland Hardware and Jewelry Store in Harlan. Her mother left nursing to become a full-time homemaker and good neighbor, whose many gifts and works Mary remembered as follows. My mother was a loyal and caring friend to many people. She often assisted local doctors at home deliveries and always helped her neighbors. She was an excellent cook and seamstress and loved to read. One of my earliest memories of Mother is seeing her at the dining room table, reading the scriptures and starting her long, busy day with prayer. She taught all of us about love, that it is infinite, that it doesn't restrict, that love just goes on and grows deeper. Dad was her avid supporter, and both my parents taught us respect for all people. Mary's elementary and high school education took place in Harlan, Kentucky during the Depression years, which were full of changes for all the family. Mary's older brothers and sister had to delay their dreams of going to college. Again, in 1941, all their lives were challenged. Mary wrote this in her autobiography. After graduation in 1942, everyone in our class realized that we were facing a lot of sacrifices. Our brothers and male friends were all leaving for service. I went with a group of young women from my class to Oak Ridge, Tennessee, to work for the Manhattan Project. None of us knew what was being made there, only that it was part of a secret war project. The day the bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, we workers found out about it through radio and the press. I was utterly shocked at what I had been part of, burst into tears, and resigned almost immediately. I can still feel that moment, which changed forever my feelings toward war. Just before the end of the war, in July of 1945, Mary met and married Sergeant Edward Clute of the Army Corps of Engineers. After the war, they moved to Troy, New York, and then to Schenectady, where Ed took a position with General Electric. Mary's religious background was Presbyterian and Ed was Catholic. Shortly after their marriage, Mary began instructions and in 1947 became a member of the Catholic community. That same year, the first of their 3 children, Charles, was born. Bobby arrived 3 years later, and Betsy followed in 1957. Bobby suffered a viral infection when he was 18 months old. The resulting brain damage caused cerebral palsy with permanent mental and physical limitations. Ed's work took the family to Cleveland, Erie, Pennsylvania, and finally back to Kentucky, where they lived in Louisville. Mary found educational opportunities for Bobby and became active with the Cerebral Palsy Center. The family cared for Bobby at home until he was 12, then settled him in a residential home with frequent visits home to for family celebrations, especially Christmas. He died 4 days after Christmas, 2004. Mary added a third career to her nursing and homemaking, going to work as a dental assistant. She enjoyed her work in several dental offices in several Midwestern cities, where the family lived from 1968 to 1992. Like her mother, Mary was a loyal and caring friend to many people, looking for ways to help her neighbors. Through the years, Mary volunteered in a wide variety of works, issues, and causes. This is the list she gave in her Loretto application. Girl Scout leader for 5 years, receptionist for the Cerebral Palsy Center for 4 years, a member of the board of directors of that center for 3 years, band mother for the high school marching band, literacy council member, tutor of remedial reading, worker in the parish food pantry, leader of nature walks for school children, and Eucharistic minister for the homebound and nursing homes. For 2 years, I taught dulcimer lessons in a senior center, also enriching were the Freedom Marches in 1960, CCD classes, confirmation classes, and work in a soup kitchen over the winter months. Early in the millennial year 2000, Mary and Ed made their final move to Berea, Kentucky, where they met co-member Elise Andre at St. Clair Parish Church. Elise and Mary became friends and companions in parish and Berea College religious study groups. Mary described what happened next. In the fall of 2000, Elise invited my husband and me to attend Mass and have dinner at the Loretto Mother House. We both were very impressed by the hospitality extended to us by everyone. The warmth, love, and sense of peace that I felt made me want to know more about the community. The following spring, Elise invited us to attend the Saturday and Sunday Easter services at Loretto. When I sat in church on that Sunday, it was just like coming home. I knew then that I wanted to become a part of this wonderful community and its mission. Mary and Ed came to know many members through visits to the Mother House and other gatherings, including the Journey 2002 celebration in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where she and Ed witnessed the great diversity of Loretto works for peace and justice. Mary began the co-membership process with Sister Mary Fran Lottis as her contact person and celebrated her co-member commitment at Loretto on March the 1st, 2003. She said at that time, "Becoming more and more acquainted with the Loretto community, with your deep faith, loving care for one another, and deep commitment to the poor, the mentally challenged, and all the mistreated, I am definitely drawn to become one of you. I know it will deepen my faith and spirituality and help me take actions I would be unlikely to do on my own. Mary committed herself especially to spending time in the Loretto Mother House Infirmary, where she loved to visit Loretto's elders. She was a welcome companion and compassionate listener. She shared her musical gifts freely and thoroughly enjoyed those she visited. Gradually, Mary's own health deteriorated. When, in 2012, her beloved husband Ed died, Mary left the simple, beautiful home they had shared and joined the community at the Mother House Infirmary. She died peacefully November 24th, having lived fully and enjoyed deeply. Mary summed up her long and useful life this way: I genuinely love people, and it gives me great joy to share with and help others.
The reading tonight is an excerpt from a sermon of Meister Eckhart, a 14th century mystic from Germany. In it, he speaks of God's longing to enter into the human heart. When the human spirit is ready, God enters it without hesitation or waiting. It is written in the book of Revelation that God told the people, I stand at the door and knock and wait. If you let me in, I will sup with you. You need not look either here or there. God is no farther than the door of the heart. God stands there, lingering, waiting for us to be ready and open the door to receive the one who is waiting. You need not call God as if God were far away, for God waits more urgently for you than you for the door to be opened. You are 1,000 times more necessary to God than God is to you. The opening of the door and God's entry are simultaneous.
Your presence gives me untold joy. Your presence gives me untold joy. O God, it is you who are my portion and cup. It is you yourself who are my prize. The lot marked out for me is my delight. Welcome indeed the heritage that falls to me. Your presence gives me untold joy. And so my heart rejoices, my soul is glad. Even my body shall rest in safety. For you will not leave my soul among the dead, nor let your beloved know decay. Your presence gives me untold joy. You will show me the path of life, the fullness of joy in your presence. At your right hand, happiness forever. Praise to you, O Trinity, wisdom, love, and might, our Maker, Savior, Comforter, eternal joy and light. Your presence gives me untold joy. We will now begin our sharing, beginning here at the Mother House, and then we will open up the Zoom to other people around the country who would like to share with us. If you'll give us just a minute to get the microphone set up. And who would like to start? And please say your name as you begin.
My name is B. Clute, and I had the privilege of working in the St. Joseph unit for many years. And when Mary was down there, she was always coming outside wanting to help. So I says, okay, water the flowers. I had the hose hooked up and just say a Hail Mary at each plant as you move along. Okay, she could do that. When I came back, it was like a flood. But she said, oh, well, they talked to me. And I says, may I ask you what they say? Yes, Mary, come again, come tomorrow, give us another drink. So that was, and then at another time, maybe once a month, the lawn people came in and did the yard and touched up a few things. And so we brought all the residents in, but they'd hang out and look out the window. And as soon as they were finished, she was the first one out. And she would tell them, I think it was the owner, what a professional job they did. Well, he had the blower and he was cleaning the leaves on the porch. No, leave that alone. That's my job. Tomorrow morning she would get there and she'd sweep the porch every morning, whether it had leaves or not. See, I knocked it apart. All right.
Hi, my name is Erna Volk. I'm the receptionist here at the Mother House. I used to work in activities back in St. Joe, so I got to know Mary very well. We became good friends. We did a lot of things together. We danced and sang almost every day. Her sister, Frances Retterman. I have a lot of fond memories of Mary. She was very compassionate toward other people, very caring. All of her days, when I first met her, she was always trying to help do anything that she could. She was very nice to be with. We enjoyed a lot of the same things. We shared a lot of memories. It talks about her children, Betsy and Charlie. Before I ever met them, I knew who they were. She she was just a joy to be with, and I have such fond memories of Mary. We had good days and bad days. Most of them were good, and I look on her with nothing but love. Oh, Mary and I had a couple little things. I will go ahead and tell you that. Mary and I had a couple of things that we shared that nobody else shared. And right till the very end, even Betsy knows, we would hold our hands out like this, and we would say, "Friends forever, pinky swear." And one more thing I will share. Mary and I used to go get the carts to bring back to St. Joe together. And this one cart we called Old Crybaby because it always squeaked and you could hear us coming. And so we made up stories about how we were cupcake bandits, and that before we brought the food trays back to St. Joe, we opened the door and we took a bite of cupcakes. And so we were cupcake bandits, but Mary was such a good friend to me.
I'm Gail. I'm married to Charles Clute. Mary was his mother. I've known her for 40 years, and I could talk all night and never be done. But I will tell you one little story that was simply hilarious to me. We were in North Carolina in Calabash, and she says, "Gail, can we leave now and go somewhere?" I said, "Well, sure. Where would you like to go?" "I want to go to a pawn shop. I have never been to a pawn shop, and I want to see what it's all about." Well, I had never been to one either. So the two of us go trotting off to the local pawn shop, go in, walk around, and she goes, "I guess this is what it's all about. I don't need anything here." And we left. She was such a kind soul, such a kind heart, and she would do anything for everybody, and we love her.
My name is Cecily Jones. In Eleanor's sketch of Mary's life, one of the quotes from Mary was how much she enjoyed visiting the residents of the infirmary during the early years of her co-membership. I don't think there's anyone left in the infirmary who was a recipient of any of those visits. I checked the list, and I think they've all gone on. But I'm sort of a direct connection, because in August of 2003, I was here on one of my several visits to Sarah Frank, and by that time, Luke and Helen had also moved here. And it was on that visit that I met Mary Clute, who was visiting Sarah. Mary and Sarah became very good friends, and I could tell then what a bond there was between them. Sarah died a few weeks after that visit, and then later that fall, I myself moved here to join my other two elders. One of the first people I met at lunch during my first week here was Mary, who joined the two Dumpy girls and me at lunch. And it was such a joyful reunion because Mary spent her time telling me how much Sarah loved me and how much she loved Sarah. And I spent my time thanking her for her visits to Sarah. Thank you.
Hello, Stumpy. My sister Carol was in the infirmary when we first moved here in 2003. I lived in the convent, but Mary used to visit on Tuesdays, and for some reason she and Carol decided they wanted to play checkers. So Mary brought a checkerboard and all the things that go with it. So they would play checkers. I didn't know that was going on until much later because I was in the other part of the buildings. But she always enjoyed her Tuesday visits with Mary and the checkerboards.
I think while we're on the topic of mom's work in the infirmary, from our perspective at home, my dad, mom would, after she would leave here and get back home to Berea, she would be on a cloud for 3 days, every single time. And she would call me. We always talked on the phone a lot. Whether I lived a mile from her, she liked to talk on the phone. And, or whether I lived in another state, we were on the phone. And she would tell me about all the people she had visited and, you know, little stories. So I got to know people before I even met you. And she was just had this devotion that carried her from being here with all of you.
Elise, Andre, I think a number of you know that I met the Clutes through Mary's coming to church when I was volunteering in the office. She came to register them, and I had my then and one and only long-haired dachshund with me at that little office. And Mary was very warm and friendly, and I don't know, before we knew it, we were good friends. She was a cat person, which I am not, but I do remember Tigra quite well. And Mary was very nice in getting involved with my dachshunds. Sometimes I would stop by her house for some reason and have the dogs in the car. I had 2 at that point. And so we'd walk the dogs in the neighborhood. So she was able to switch over and so on. But she's just somebody who wanted to give whatever she could to them, to anybody at all. And that's a wonderful gift.
Marie Lord Steckler. I was working in the infirmary when Mary came here to visit and spend time with the sisters and do anything she could, as we've been hearing stories. The one thing that I remember the most about what she did when she was talking or visiting was to file fingernails. And she just made people comfortable and happy. And it certainly made the nurses happy that they were getting done comfortably. And the day she died, I was with her shortly before she died and was telling the other sister about that, who was sitting with me at the time in her room. And I looked down at her nails and they were just perfectly manicured. I don't mean polish. I mean, they were just filed just the way she would have done it herself. And I thought, oh, I'm so glad. So thank you, Mary.
My name is Tim Ishii, and I met Mary later in her life. Her daughter Betsy moved to Nashville and became friends with me. And the backstory is her cousin married my Citadel classmate. And that's how we met. So Betsy invited me up here to the mother house to meet all the sisters and also Mary. And Mary was always happy to see me, always very welcoming, even sometimes when she didn't quite place who I was. But that day it had been raining quite a bit, and for those of you online who've never been here, there's very narrow roads getting through here. So I drive a modified van. I was tired when we got here. So Mary announced that she wanted to go out for a walk and maybe go out to the Duck Lake and back here. Well, we got in my big old van, which is bigger than the one I have here, and we went out there and we got to the end of the road. We got to the end of the road and
Mary's Lake.
Mary's Lake? Well, even so, we got down there. I didn't figure out how we were going to turn around. And I was right. We got stuck. And Mary decided, along with Betsy, they would get out and push. Well, this is a 3/4-ton van. And Mary, bless her heart, this is not going to go well, you know. And the sisters are very sweet, but I don't think they really were too happily if I come back with two very muddy women and me clean. So finally we had to call and wait. And the farmer around here brought a pickup truck and started pulling. That didn't work. So he said, "Come, I'll come back." And finally, the tractor got us out. And the last story was when her nephew and his wife met us in Lexington. Mary came down and sat us with the table, and she welcomed me to the family. She says, "My daughter likes you a whole lot." Big gulp from Betsy. I thought, this is fun. This is not often the information you get straight from mom. So, but she was always very sweet, a nice Christian lady. I enjoyed knowing her very much.
Thank you. Okay, I'm Charlie Clute. I've known Mary since 1947, longer than anyone else here. To say a few things about my mom is impossible. There's more than I can even imagine that I could tell you about. I'd be up here for hours and hours. But to put it the most simply, my mom, Mary Clute, loved everyone. There's no one that Mary didn't like. Unfortunately, in the end, her dementia decreased some of that, but deep down inside, she still loved everyone. And if I would run into someone in the area that I didn't know and they knew my mother, I would have to listen to stories about my mom for hours trying to get away. She was friends with everyone, she loved everyone, and she never met a person that she didn't like. And to me, that's probably the greatest gift that she could give me is I'm at least half like her, the other half like my dad, but both of them contributed to what I am today, and I'm forever thankful to her and to Loretto for taking her in. I know she did work as working with everyone else, taking her in, taking care of her to the end, and Betsy and I and my wife Gail are all very, very thankful to all of you who helped her, and I know she helped you as well. Thank you, and God bless.
I'm Julie Kerber, and Betsy is my co-member's sister. And I'm new to Wakes here at Loretto. So if I'm being inappropriate, you can give me a hard time later. But I have a lovely, we're going to listen to Mary's words about how important it is to love people. And the first part is actually Mary and I singing. And we can sing together. You can join in with us, and then you can listen to her words, okay? So let me see if I can get this.
Tell me why the stars do shine. Tell me why the ivy twines. Tell me why the sky is so blue. And I will tell you just why I love you. Because God made the stars to shine. Because God made the ivy twine. Because God made the sky so blue. Because God made you. That's why I love you. We love you, Betsy.
We love you, Betsy. Betsy, your mommy loves you best of all.
Best of all, absolutely. We're thinking about you, and it's a sunny day here at Loretto.
And Pepper loves you. Pepper sends her love.
Oh, dog. We wish we could pick some of these beautiful daffodils, don't we, and give them to her. They're so pretty. But actually, in Nashville, Tennessee, they probably have daffodils already. Probably. It's just up north that they don't. But she's down south. That's right.
We're here.
We're here.
There.
That's right. But she'll be here to see you soon.
Won't be long that she'll be here.
That's right. Okay.
She's such a good girl.
Isn't she? She is a good girl. Did you hear that, Betsy? You are a good girl.
You're number one girl, I'll tell you. And she's always been that way, always been fun, and never any trouble. Never any trouble.
Yeah. Well, those of us who are her friends, love her too. You've got such a special relationship because you're her mama.
Well, and she just, ever since she see that little cup up there that has joy on it?
Yeah.
That was one of the little things that we had that we kept around in the house.
Yeah.
And we had fun with it.
Yeah.
So let's drink out of the joy cup, and then we'll feel good all day long.
It'll give us joy.
Yeah.
Betsy's a joy giver. She spreads joy.
It's true. She does. She's sweet, I'll tell you. She's a good girl.
She is. All righty. Love, 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 as my mama says.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you. I feel so sad for people who never have love given to them. And they don't know what it's like to be loved. It's sad, isn't it?
It is, and I know you have loved people probably who haven't had others to love them. You know, you've probably done that. You do, and I remember when I first met you, you just had that look in your eye and the smile on your face that let people know you're a friend, and let people know.
Try to reach out to people.
Yeah, that's something you've done really well. I think you've done that very well.
I can always feel it in my heart.
Yeah, yeah.
When you run into somebody and you think, oh, wow, they look so sad.
Then you smile at them and you pick them up.
Yeah, and then you just kind of go along with them.
You do. And I know you do that.
It's the best way to do.
Yep, it sure is.
We pray that we're going to be good all the time. Look at my desk. Isn't it a mess?
Well, it's a neat mess. It's a very organized mess.
If you could have seen Betsy and I bringing that home from, where did I get it? At Walmart or someplace like that. Mm-hmm. And Betsy went with me, and we carried it all the way home. But we used to, anything we do like that, we always write it down and laugh about it.
Oh, good,
You look like you have the best sense of humor.
Oh, well, it's fun to be around other people that have a sense of humor, just like you.
It helps.
It does. Oh, it helps. Got to be able to laugh and laugh at ourselves.
I have to laugh at yourself.
Oh my gosh, have to laugh at ourselves.
Sometimes I'll get here all alone in this big, it's a good sized room, really. I'll be all alone in here.
Yeah.
And I'll do something that's wrong. Or I think that was really a stupid thing I just did. And then I'll laugh.
Well, good for you. That'll keep us going, won't it?
That's what we have to do.
We have to do.
And I got my sleeves rolled up with tissues underneath.
That's handy. You always got them close by.
If my nose drips, I hate to not have something.
No drippy noses.
Anyway, I wish I had shut up a little bit more and just let Mary give us her wisdom, but she was really, really a dear, and she was pretty, she was very influential in my deciding to become a co-member, actually. I mean, I didn't mention it at my commitment, but she was one of those co-members that you felt really talked her talk and walked her walk, and so I'm grateful that I met her, and Betsy and I share the mama-daughter connection.
I realized I forgot to tell you all who I am. I'm Betsy Clute. I just wanted to say, Mom loved us all equally. Julie went to visit her on my behalf one day, but she loved Charlie so much, and she loved Bobby, and she loved me, all of us. And she would always say, her mother, Granny, raised 7 kids, and Granny they would ask Granny, they'd say, Granny, our mother, she was their mother, Mother, which one of us do you love the most? And Granny would say, I love the one the most that needs me the most at the time. So.
I think now we're ready to hear from people on Zoom who might like to share some stories.
All right, if anyone on Zoom would like to share a story, I'll go down the participant list, and if you'd like to speak, go ahead and start speaking. Anyone from Donald Darville and family?
Hi, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm Donald Darville. I'm Betsy, your Grandma Clute's grandson. And I just want to thank you all for doing this. It's I really wanted to come back there. I live in Washington State. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to come back. But it's incredible that and very special to hear all the stories about Grandma Clute. For myself, the one that really comes to mind is that when I was a little boy, we all went to visit Grandpa and Grandma Clute, and Grandma decided she wanted us all to paint pictures. And so we sat down and she helped me paint paint this picture. And now mind you, I was just a little boy, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And she spent a whole lot of time. She's very patient and loving. And she even helped me sign my name in cursive on this painting. And she and Grandpa Clute came out to see us here a while ago here in Washington State. They spent some time with us, and we traveled around, and we had a great time together. And she brought me that painting, and it's hanging on my wall. And every time I look at that painting, I think about her and just what a sweet woman she was. And so I just, she's just a flower, a real gem. And, you know, she touched my life very deeply. So, along with all the Clutes, you've all been a great family. And I love you all. And I just thank you so much for this opportunity to participate in this. Thanks.
All right. Next in line, Ella May, would you like to speak? I will unmute you.
I'm having a little hard time right now. She was really so special. From the time she was a little bit older than me, not a hell of a lot, but a little bit. And I used to spend all my summers with her. They would drive down to Kentucky and pick me up, take me home with them. And I would spend my whole summer doing great things, having a great time, having Charlie and Betsy around. Well, Betsy came along later. It was Charlie and Bobby. But we had so many great times together. And I miss her.
All right. Would Judy like to speak?
Yes. I just loved hearing these stories from everyone, and they're all so true. That's the Mary that I knew. Mary and I were neighbors for 3 years when we both lived in Berea. And I met Mary coming down the street one day in her car, and she stopped, and immediately we had a connection. But that was Mary. I mean, Mary just connected with everyone. And very quickly, we started religious journeys and the religious readings that we were interested in. And Mary was just so helpful to me. She invited me to a study group, a Bible studies group at her church, and at St. Clair. And I went and met the most amazing women there. I was so impressed with their Christianity, really. And I had been looking for some resolve in my Christian life. And I really found it there in that group and with Mary. And consequently, I ended up converting to Catholicism. And it's been a wonderful journey for me. And I have Mary to thank for getting me on that road, that beautiful road. So I'm just so happy to have this opportunity to speak of my experience with Mary and the love that she had for me and for everyone. And thank you very much.
Okay, Robbie, would you like to speak? If so, go ahead and start talking.
John, well, it's good to be with you in spirit, and tomorrow we'll be there in person, but I'm here with Father John and my mother, Rose, and we send our love. Mary, the day that Mary moved to Loretto, I was the culprit that brought her. It was a day that I told her we were going to breakfast and that she was going to take me to Loretto and show me around. And it was a beautiful spirit. And in the meantime, Betsy and some friends were getting her stuff ready and moving that to Loretto. What a gift it was that the day that her father died, they got word that there was a place at Loretto. And as a sister, as a Franciscan sister, I know what it means to have, to be in that space, and what a gift it is. And so I know that for Mary, it was truly a blessing to live each day. She always had some cute story to share, or we just laughed the whole way through breakfast, I remember, and the whole way to Loretto, which isn't far, but she was truly a gift, and I'm so grateful to have met Mary and her family, and to be gifted with her faith and joy and love. And I hope that we can take that love and spread it everywhere, because I think our world needs it today. Thank you.
Susan, would you like to speak? If so, go ahead and start talking. Okay, there's one more person on. I'm not sure who it is. It just says iPhone here. So iPhone, if you would like to speak, go ahead and start. Okay, Mother House, it's back to you.
It will close with a song. My soul, give thanks to the Lord, and all my being, bless God's name. My soul, give thanks to the Lord, and never forget God's love.
Thanks, everyone. It went really well. Thank you.